Hello, everybody. This is Frances Casta-Dice, president of the Houston Easton Chamber of Commerce, and it's an honor to welcome you to our Feel Good Friday. We are doing this a little later because these two amazing entrepreneurs that you're about to meet are working so hard today, and they're just taking a break, and then they're going to get back to the grind. So welcome Marlén Mendoza, the roasted and owner of Amanecer Company, and then also Veronica Avila, the owner of Henderson Kane General Store. Hi, ladies. How are y'all?
Good. We're doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
You're so welcome, Veronica. You've been on here before, and I'm just glad to have you back again because what you're doing, not only being an entrepreneur with Henderson Kane General Store, you're also giving other people an opportunity. And we've got a picture here that we want to show of your store, which I think it's beautiful. And if anyone out there has not visited Henderson Kane, please go do so. You feel like you're back in time in a true general store. You have a lot of products from vendors, all makers here in Houston. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the vendors that you have and why it's important to share some of your success with them?
Yeah, well, I think it's just part of growing the community. So when we first started Henderson and Kane, we maybe had about 20 local products, and we were constantly growing that number. Within the first year, we've made our way up to about 50. Right now, I would say we have maybe close to 60 local vendors and over 100 local products. Some of our vendors carry multiple things. Marlene has a couple of drinks in the store. But for us, it's just really important to support the community in the way that it supports us. If it wasn't for all of our neighbors, we wouldn't have this place. And if they need it, and we need them, and so it is a mutual feeling. And as far as the local products are concerned, I think we're all in this together, and COVID has kind of brought us to the forefront of what that means. And supporting each other is very important. And I think it pays off tenfold.
I agree. And so when you walk into the store, like I said, you feel like you're back in time with the way it looks. And then you have wine, and then you've got jewelry, and then you've got other products. Then you have cheeses made locally, eggs made locally. It's just amazing. The next picture that we wanted to show you is that I had to selfishly plug in some pictures of mine. Me and some of our dear friends, we enjoy going to brunch there and buying a bottle of Prosecco or champagne or something and sharing that. But you can pick whatever you want to in the back and then eat right then and there. And then, of course, that day that I went, I bought something for my dog, Joy. You also you have pet items there as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about how people, do they tend to eat there, or do they tend to take it? I know during COVID is different, but what do you see right now?
Well, so interestingly enough, this shop actually started with a lot more tables. And once COVID took impact, into the way we had to change the business, we started adding in a lot more products. So all of those tables we flipped to carry more of our local goods, which was really great timing because at the same time we saw a lot of local chefs developing new items specifically for that purpose. We're all trying to survive here, so we have to get a little creative about what we do. And so right now we have just a couple tables inside. We have added a lot more seating outside, which has been very helpful. But I find that everybody makes their own way. There are plenty of people that take food to go, and we have plenty that like to stay and hang out for hours. So it's really cool.
Great. Well, the guest star today is Marlén Mendoza, and I'm so honored to meet you. I read this beautiful article that a dear friend of mine, Sonia, wrote about you, and I just we've got to have her on our program to hear her inspirational story. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started into coffee?
Yeah. So I started in the coffee about 5 years ago. I used to work at a Whole Foods. Just during college, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. At the time, I worked for a company, and then I ended up graduating college and some PR work. That's what I graduated in. And then I ended up
before you can, your voice it's cutting off, so I'm not being able to hear you very well. So I don't know if you can move over closer to the microphone.
So, did you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, after college, I was doing some PR work in marketing, and then I kind of circled back into coffee somehow, and decided that I wanted to wanted to open up something of my own, with the help of like my teacher in the beginning, who so at the time owned a store in the East End. And then I had this product that was called like an horchata cold brew. And it was really good, and a lot of people really liked it. And then every time I had a pop-up, I would sell out, and then it just kind of got bigger and bigger. So yeah, so I think from there, I kind of just started to really focus on that. And especially this year, I more of like survival mode. I was like, okay, I'm going to really push this forward so that people can try it, and so that I can sell lots of coffee and just see where it goes. I wasn't sure, but I also did like, you know, nothing was really holding me back at that point. And then it just kind of really took off. And then especially here, putting the bottles here at Henderson, that really helped a lot. And I think it gives people an opportunity to to buy single bottles as opposed to like buying packs. It's also the opportunity to find them on a daily basis. Really helpful for me, and it definitely shows.
Now, for those who didn't hear, she has an horchata cold brew that's at Henderson and Kane, and I grew up on that, and I love it. So I look forward to coming over this weekend and getting some of that. What are the other two flavors that you have here? And Veronica, you're a little louder, so maybe you can chime in and what those are.
Yeah, so currently in the store, we carry her cold brew, which is just straight black coffee, and then also the horchata cold brew.
Yum. And then the grounds, do you sell that package that we just saw? Do you sell that in the store too?
The bags of coffee I mostly sell via a website, and then I'll also sell them at PopUp. So I've been doing a lot of pop-ups in town with different chefs, and that has been really fun and interesting. And so you'll be able to find bags of coffee there.
Wow, that's great. And so you're not only does Veronica collaborate with you, but you're collaborating with other chefs locally. When's your next pop-up that any people can follow you at?
Yeah, so the next one is going to be actually next Friday. So I think November 13th. It's going to be in downtown in Finn Hall with friends. They own a company called La, and they also amazing, really, really great, Mexico-inspired food. And so I'll be doing a collaboration with them and possibly new drinks with them. So that's super fun. We're going to pop up in downtown.
Great. Well, we'll add that to our comments in the Facebook down below so that we can make sure to come visit you next Friday downtown, because downtown is very close to our East End. So we're grateful to that. Now, the importance of doing business with one another, Veronica, how important was it to find another East Ender and support them at your store?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think that's a huge part of the business here. And what's interesting about the store is that not intentionally, we do support quite a bit of minority businesses in the store. And I think it's just a matter of us, we're really trying to survive here. And in a lot of ways, that takes a lot of creativity and coming up with new products, how to sit them on the shelves, how they're going to last, to make sure they're stable, packaging things properly, and being cautious and cleanly with those procedures. And so it's been a lot of fun. She's actually not the only East End business that we support. We also do carry Taylor Coffee, and I'm trying to think who else.
Cadenza.
Cadenza also, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, coffee is very important to us here. And so having Marlene in the store and her products in the store is really just a natural step for us. Given that we are Second Ward residents, we're very familiar with the coffee factory, Second Ward. And so, yeah.
That's great. And so I'm going to ask Marlene another question, but maybe you can get a packaging of the horchata cold brew just so we can see what that looks like.
Okay, I'll grab it.
Thank you. I know that I read that your mother and your sister are all entrepreneurs as well. Where do you think you all get that drive from? And do you ever sleep?
I try to sleep as much as I can. I have to decide sometimes. I'm like, do I want to go out today or do I, want to sleep? So it's starting to dwindle down to those decisions. But my mom came here when she was like 16 from Monterey, and pretty much her dad was like, you have to work to get anywhere. And so she did that for a very long time. She used to work at Fiesta. She worked there like 19 years. And then finally she was like, okay, I think, I have this vision and this goal to start my own, you know, bakery to sell like really nice cakes. And it was just trial and error by that point for her. She was an immigrant to the country. She didn't understand, one, with the language barrier, but also just how business worked here in the US. And I think it was just a lot of drive and initiative from her. And luckily, she was able to translate those like characteristics onto her daughters. I'm honestly surprised that the way she did it, really all of it for like she's the one that taught us everything. So I mean, as much as I put in the work, she's the one who really understood. Now she's been doing her cake business for like over 15 years now. So now she like really understands numbers, understands clientele, understands product really well. And she has passed that down to me and my other sisters. And so we're just really grateful for her. But yeah, that's pretty much.
And tell us the name of your mom's cake business.
Nancy's Cake Designs.
And does she have a location that people can find her at?
Yeah. So she has a shop off by Gulf Gate area. So it is the shop is 6969 Gulf Gate, and it's in the shopping center right in front of the HCC. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we'll make sure that we go over there and visit her. And then your sister, she has a shop in the East End. What is the name of that store?
She did have a shop. It's online now because of COVID. So we've decided to move everything online. But she did have a shop that was in the Tlaquepaque Plaza where Bohemios is at. Mm-hmm. So we were there for like 2 years. It was a really good time. But now she's selling her things online, and we'll start to sell things at PopUp. She's also a really smart woman and businesswoman, and so she's helped me a lot as well.
Wonderful. So does Veronica have that sample that we can take a look at? And I wish you could. Oh my God, that looks good. That's a pretty packaging. So who came up with your design? Do you do that too?
Yes, I do all of my designs.
Wow. Look at that. Which one is that?
That's the black cold brew. So right now I have several bottles online. I have horchata cold brew. I have black cold brew. I have a mocha that just came out, and then I also have a tamarindo cold brew. And I kind of just try to release them via seasons. So obviously in the summertime, tamarindo was really popular and it was really good. It still is. And now that we're going into fall, winter, this mocha that I have kind of replaced that one. And it's made with espresso as opposed to cold brew. Because I was able to purchase an espresso machine. So that was nice. Yeah, so I'm constantly trying to create new beverages, but also still try to relate it all back to what is like Mexican culture. And just like pay respect to that country and the drive that the people of that country have.
That's wonderful. And, sometimes they say you pair wine with different foods. So do you pair your brew? What tastes better with them? Or I know everything probably tastes better, but what would you pair some of your brews with?
Yeah. So the tamarindo cold brew pairs really well with steak. And when I worked and also just did collaborations with Chef Victoria from Cochinita and Co. We did some pairings and it turned out that the tamarindo was super good with her like steak tacos. That works out really well. The mocha is really good for any brunch item. Honestly, it has a deep cacao base, and it's also really silky. It's not overly chocolate, overly sweet, made with really good ingredient. Um, so yeah, I mean, and then the rest of the coffees, it just depends on what your preference is. If you like black cold brew, that always goes well the entire day. It's like a fast brewer. It's also something that wakes you up. So definitely in the morning.
Wow. So we went to a restaurant once and my husband ordered Mexican coffee and it was made with tequila. So do you, have you ever thought of mixing tequila or anything else with your brews?
I've thought about mixing mezcal with my coffee. That is definitely something I need to work on. I really like mezcal, so hopefully we get to do that soon. I just need to figure out a way to put it in the coffee and I can still sell it, you know? But yeah, I've actually had versions of something like that before and it's really tasty. So I'm excited to try to create something like that.
Oh, that's wonderful. We're so excited. So we can find you at Henderson Kane. You have 2 products there, and then we're going to follow you at the pop-up next weekend at a place downtown, and we'll get that information down below. Or can you tell us that the location one more time? Because I wasn't able to. Is it the Finn Hall?
Yeah, it's Finn Hall in downtown. It's actually inside the Chase building, Rust and Main Street.
Perfect. Great. We'll make sure that we go over there and support you there. And Veronica, what are, I know you've got her cold brew here, but what other new items do you have in the general store?
Ooh, our newest items, I would say, are probably going to be our tamales, which are actually going to be here year long. We're collaborating with Cochinita and Company to put those together. He's using both our smoked brisket and our pulled pork, and actually our turkey as well. So we'll have the brisket is in a salsa roja, same with the puerco, and the turkey will actually be a turkey mole, which we just started last year, was one of our newer tamales. And I did find it to be pretty popular. You know, I think oftentimes for chicken in a tamale, but it's one of our most popular meats is smoked turkey. We thought it'd be really nice and really more in line with traditions of turkey and mole combined, and having that in a tamale adds a nice fluffiness to it. Really awesome. And Victoria is just doing a really incredible job with the tamales. Her and her mother are making them, which is always fun.
Wow, my mouth is getting watery just thinking. I love mole, and turkey mole tamales just sounds so fascinating. So when can we come over and get those?
So they're actually available now in the store in our frozen section, which is also a new addition to the store. We didn't previously have any room for any frozen items, and that's something we added a few months ago, which is great because we've been able to expand into certain items that have a shorter shelf life, but because they're flash frozen and put into the freezer, you know, it allows them to maintain freshness for a lot longer, which has been great.
Well, wonderful. Well, it is Friday. I know you 2 ladies got to go get some rest or probably continue working. So in closing, you know, what fun thing are you going to do this weekend? Anything fun? We'll start with you, Veronica.
Yeah, of course. Actually, John, my husband, is in the process of launching a soft opening for his new restaurant, Acadian Coast, over in the East End. That's 2929 Navigation. So today and tomorrow they're doing drinks. Next week they'll start adding on a few food items. So that's actually where I'll be this evening.
Great. Well, I may have to stop by.
Yeah, please do.
We definitely will. And you, Marlene, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm working.
Yeah,
I last weekend I went out of town, so this weekend is where I stay in and I get stuff done.
yeah, that's spoken like a true entrepreneur. So, ladies, in closing, if you could just say a couple of encouraging words for other people that want to go out there and they have this fear of starting their own business or jumping into something because of just fear in itself, what would you tell them to not to do or encourage them to do?
I personally would say to always take the risk. I think there's more good that comes out of that as opposed to not trying anything in the first place. There being a Latinx entrepreneur, there's going to be a lot more loopholes that you have to go through, but that's okay because our community is really great and we support each other. So I think just anytime anybody has any suggestion or doubt of starting something, I think they should just go for it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And you, Veronica, any encouraging words right now?
Yeah, I would so agree with what Marlene said, but also, one of the things that you mentioned, which is fear. And I think oftentimes we don't do things because of how afraid we are, when ultimately it's those failures that we find in, by overcoming that fear that really teach us the really tough lessons and strengthen us to grow whatever it is that we're doing. So my best advice is always to forget about the fear and just go for it, because at the end of the day, it's taking a risk on yourself, and that's always going to pay off.
So true. So true. Well, I'm very honored to have you two ladies join us today. I wish you a beautiful weekend, and thank you guys for being such great role models to other people that want to start their own business out there. Thank you guys. And we'll see you tonight, Veronica.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye, Marlene.